going to get it? Get the lights on. Are we live? Hey, we're live! Alright. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. Alright, I think we're working this time. Supposedly, I think we're actually working this time. So, yeah, it's hard to get a network connection sometime. I don't really think anybody really had this in mind. But this is like a genius idea. Because, you know, I can't be everywhere at once. And now I can be with you. Everywhere. Because I'm everywhere. Because I'm all over the road. Literally and figuratively. This is All Over the Road with Cindy Lou. I'm Cindy Lou, your hostess with the mostest. And a little something extra, we do talk about that. But according to this show, you know, I wanted to do a Birth Mother's Day Spectacular. It's a special show. We're broadcasting live up to YouTube via Wirecast. And we're from the car, and this is the show we do from the car because I am a professional courier, messenger, and I'd like to try my idea of getting different messages out there. So not just documents to people or machine parts to people and things that I usually do. Or, you know, we're trying something new, and that's what we're doing. So welcome to the show, and we're glad you're here. Mission of the day. What this show is really is it's called All Over the Road because we are all over the road. We go all over the road. We go everywhere, but it's kind of a different thing because there's kind of a double meaning. You know, kind of like when the little babies spill the milk on the floor, and you know, the sippy cup lets a couple drops out, but somehow to my dad this means it's all over the floor. 2 drops equals all over the floor. So I'm all over the road because we'll kind of get some. We get into a lot of things and things I think about and things I'd like to start discussions with. And so anyway, back to the show. We're on the road, all over the road, going out to let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? I let the dogs out. Woof, 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 woof. So it's just a side thing. There's no actual mission tonight. We're not actually working. Occasionally we do get a night off, or I don't really usually take nights off, but occasionally sometimes we do because maybe there's just no work, and it is Saturday right before Mother's Day, and that is the title of the show. So we're gonna go out and celebrate a little later after the show, but we'll give my friends over at Abstract American Bar and Grill in Crest Hill a free plug. They're wonderful people over there. That's where we go hang out. And if you're anywhere near Crest Hill and you'd like to come out and see us live, or just hang out, play some pool, have some drinks, that's where we're going to be tonight. And I guess I've just probably given a fair warning, so they might want to lock the doors before I get there, which I think they've tried to do before. You know, it's like, way to make me feel welcome, guys, right? But I will be there tonight drinking rum and Diet Coke over by the bar. So it's the Saturday before Mother's Day. It's not really, you know, that's not really a holiday. I guess it is, but it is a holiday, and I'm sure many people don't know this. And outside the adoption circles or things like that, the adoption community and that kind of thing, like, you know, the people that follow those things, you might know the day before Mother's Day as Birth Mother's Day. And I think you know, this was a movement that was put out a few years ago. You know, because before mothers there was birth mothers, at least to the adoptees, and kind of celebrate them a little bit. Now I think sometimes they take a little offense to this, and because they say, I don't want to be a birth mother. I mean, nobody wants to be a birth mother. Trust me. I'm not a birth mother, but I have one, and I was also married to one. So it's kind of a special show for me. I'm going to take a little departure because we're not going to actually just kind of let it ramble and ago, we are actually going to talk, and I'm going to really tell you a story about this, because not only is it Birth Mother's Day, the day before Mother's Day, which will fall on May 8th, tonight is May 7th. May 7th is my wife's birthday, and I lost my wife about 8 years ago. A little over. What is this? Boy racer time? Fucks. Seriously. All right, way to kill the show, Cindy Lou. Okay, we've got hoodlums in their little sport compact things, and driving like jackasses. I'm sure they're young punks. But back to the see, that's how all over the road goes. I mean, because we get distracted. Because I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that, and we're trying to drive, but we're also trying to talk to you and create the show and whatnot. However, okay, back to the story. So May 7th is my wife's birthday. I lost her a little over 8 years ago. So it's been a reflective day for me. I've put those feelings behind. I mean, really, that first year or two was a real bear to really kind of accept the fact that she was gone. After that, we actually learned something, and I'll tell you that story at a later date, really, but I'll kind of break into it a little bit right now. So really, a couple years ago, 6 years ago, is when I really started the new project. And I wanted to talk about my wife, because, like I said, I was feeling a little bit nostalgic today. Just kind of due to the nature of the day. And it's been a very nice day. It's been a very pleasant day. Traffic and weather. Traffic's moving smoothly. Traffic and weather on the threes. Traffic's moving smoothly. The weather is temperature 59 degrees. I think it got up to about 65 degrees. We're outside Chicago. That's basically where we're kind of based out of. Based out of our headquarters. So we come from the left side of Chicago. But back to I really wanted to kind of celebrate my wife's life, just because I was kind of feeling it today. It was just it's her birthday, and I got to take out and take time to reflect and imagine what kind of that I really I had a wonderful marriage that actually maybe wasn't so wonderful the last couple of years. She did get sick and died. Kind of by her own doing, and I think the rum and Diet Cokes really they played a part in it. That's why she died. But we don't learn lessons like that, and just because she's gone doesn't mean I can't go enjoy them too. So, but the day started out. I was doing some of my work, and actually it wasn't anything really. Well, I guess it's all critical. It's not really critical, but it's same-day deliveries, and today's stuff was just fresh produce and flowers, because one of the things that I transport in here from time to time are flowers, and obviously it's Mother's Day, so if you didn't get your mom flowers, probably want to pick those up pretty early in the morning, and go get your mom's flowers. I'm sure she'd appreciate it. I don't know what to get my mother. My dad actually already got her flowers, and so do we really need to get more flowers? I don't think we really need to get more flowers, so I'm kind of at a loss. But we're gonna try and hit someplace, either late tonight or tomorrow morning, and try and find a suitable gift for my mom. But that's not really it. We want to go back to the day before Mother's Day, which is Birth Mother's Day, and coincidentally also my wife's birthday. And like I was saying, she was birth mother, and I'm going to tell you that story. So it was a wonderful marriage. I knew my wife pretty much all my life. I met her when I was 7 years old. That was the time when I first met her. It was a couple days after Christmas, back in 1982, and I was only 7 years old, but she was 15 years older, so I met her about 22. And throughout the years, she was a friend of mine at the time. actually probably a good friend of mine, a friend of mine that I had. He was my friend since about the time I was 6, 7 years old, up until a couple years back. So really long-term friendship there. Christy was his aunt, and so I used to go to their house, and actually to his grandparents' house right outside Chicago for meetings and whatnot. And our families would get together and we converse and have a good time and enjoy ourselves. And it was a nice time. But I can still kind of remember the day I first met Christy. And throughout the years, as I continued my friendship with Chris, that was my friend's name. We had, I'd seen Christy throughout the years, usually a couple times a year, and didn't really think much about it. I guess, man, at the beginning, I mean, you're a young kid, and you don't know. But as I got a little older, got to be about 15, 15, 16, hormones start raging, or whatever. But we had always kind of, we'd always wound up talking, and eventually, when I decided to take up smoking, that was kind of one of those other things. So we used to go out into the garage, and Christy and I would smoke cigarettes together, and just kind of talk about things. And it was very light and friendly, and so on and so forth. But throughout the years, we'd continued this up, and eventually 22 years old, and I had gone up there a couple days after Christmas because Chris was in town. He was living down in Atlanta. She still lives in Atlanta, I think. I don't really know. Don't really care. But I think he lives down in Atlanta now. But he used to come down. He used to come up there, and he came up back at back at Christmas in 1997. So we got together as we always did. We kind of camp out down in the basement and drink and whatnot. Christy was there, and his sister Kara was there. It was nice. It was nice. It's just nice to catch up, with old friends. Now, the day before we got to, I'm going to clear out the GPS. Sorry about that. Big blowout night. And he was drinking and partying the night before. So really, by the time we were hanging out, he wasn't feeling that great. I don't think he was really in a drinking mood. I guess if you're that hungover, sometimes you just don't want to drink. And I think it's usually your body trying to tell you something like, hey, quit drinking. So it was not really that much fun that evening. And I really did spend a lot of time talking to Christy that evening. And I'd really just gotten engaged to a different girl a couple days before, and it was kind of one of those things that Christy was kind of interested in this thing. Like, well, you're still young. Why are you going to get married now? And do you think this is really the right thing to do? And she was really testing me out and asking me all sorts of questions about this whole thing. And I think with the other girl. At that point in time, I had been dating this other girl for 4 years, and it just seemed like getting married was kind of one of those inevitabilities that I'm not really sure I was really in love with her at that time, and it was just one of those. Christy and I continued to talk, and she was really kind of putting a little doubt in my head, I suppose. And Chris had passed out, so we had went to go, and that's when she said, would you kiss me? And I just thought it was odd, because really she was really back on the cheek, and she kind of gave me that look, and like, that's not the type of kiss I was talking about. I said, oh, so I did, so then after that I was like, okay, so I guess we're talking about a real kiss, and that was our first kiss. It was right up, kind of right on the stairs. So she was on the stair above me, so we were actually kind of right about the same height. And it was very, very nice little kiss, which really got everything started up. But by that time, she was Chris was already passed out. He was none the wiser, and she said she's going to go back home to her place, which was across the street, and she said, "Would you like to come over to my condo?" And so I think I will go spend the night at your condo, and I think that's, that was quite a night. As soon as we could barely get the door open and get inside the condo before all hell broke loose. I mean, the clothes started flying, and really, kind of the rest is history. But we had so that started it, and within a month or two, we'd really kind of solidified, like, okay, I think we're in a relationship now. Obviously, we are dating to get each other, and it really became part of that. And of course, not after that. You have that talk with someone, that someone special in your life. You're like, where are we really going? So it didn't really take long, and we started that talk where we were saying it's we know where this is going, and we kind of knew real early on we were going to get married, and go for it together, and try and get that happily ever after, which it was great. I mean, it was the greatest feeling. Our courtship was very, very, very quickly. I mean, why waste time? That's, I think, was really it. Why are we going to waste time at the 1998? And that became one of the things. We said we wanted to get married. We wanted to have at least one child, if not more. And so that portion of my life really just took off back then. And like I said, it was her birthday. Today is her birthday, and that's why I'm kind of telling this story. I don't talk about this often. I don't talk about this aspect of my life that often. I mean, why should I? I mean, sometimes you should just leave. Let the dead be dead. And can I make it sound more profound? I don't know about that, but sometimes you should just let the dead lie where they are, and leave it in the past. But like I said, I was out today doing some work and delivering some flowers and going to churches, and kind of feeling different about it. And then it's Mother's Day, and I'm doing my usual things. I'm driving around. I don't broadcast. I just I listen to music and stream from YouTube in the car. Mostly, that way I get to control what I'm listening to. And I think one of her favorite songs came on, or one of her favorite songs was "The Heart of the Matter," by Don Henley. And of course, just a reminder. I think she had a moment when her mother died, and she had this moment when her mother was dying in the hospital, and that song was on, and that helped her get her through it. That was one of her. So I heard this song today, and I pretty much just broke down. I mean, it's not anything I really listen to. I'm don't really count myself a fan of Don Henley or the Eagles or any of that. But somehow or another it just touched me. I mean, it was one of those things that YouTube kind of had just kind of recommended or something, or came in an autoplay or whatever, and I was like, okay. And I mean, as soon as I started listening to this, I broke down as I'm driving through Chicago, through town, trying to get my work done, and just driving and crying. And sometimes you do that. I mean, I let out probably a gallon or more. There's an old saying there. It's like what's only eyes that have been drenched by tears can see clearly. So I think I understand that. I mean, I know I screwed up the quote, but so don't quote me on that. But you'll get misquoted quotes here, stuff like that. So, but it's one of those things, and it got me thinking about my wife. about Christy, my wife, and how she that it is her birthday and it's a special day. So I thought that instead of our normal departure show where we're ranting about politics or transgender issues or anything like that, we're gonna, we want to take a time to kind of remember her and celebrate her and give her a show for her birthday. Now of course I was a different person back then. I wasn't Cindy Lou back then. That came much later. I mean, I think I was Cindy Lou back then, but not. I really had no formal idea of being Cindy Lou, or not full time or anything like that. It was very much we got to keep that one crushed down there. But of course, I did when I got married. I wanted to be, I wanted to be the best husband I could be for her. And it's fantastic. And I guess I'm going to have to get going here pretty soon. Like I said, we're going down to the bar. I think that's a good, that's just a good tribute. I just wanted to say about I just wanted to talk about being married and stuff like that. I was telling somebody the other day, because someone asked, and I said, are you somebody asked me actually just the other day about being married. I appreciate it. I enjoyed being married. I think that was one of the best. That was some of the best years of my life, and it lasted for almost 10 years. Not everything is always perfect. I'm not saying that every minute of the day that we spent together was perfect, but on the whole, I could not have been more pleased with, more happy about the way it all went down. The last couple years were really the point in time where it got a little. That's where the real love came in, because when you say those vows, part of those vows are sickness and health, and so long as you both shall live. And I think I proved that one, because I did that. I was reminded of this about 6 months ago or so. I met up with someone who I knew when I was, I don't know, maybe 15, or she was in my church group, and this is back when I used to go to church, and she had somehow or another, I lost track of this girl, but I found her on Tinder. So, of all places, and I just wrote her a message. She wrote back, and we went out on a few dates, and because Christy's been gone for many years, it's time to move on. Obviously, I will always remember her, our time together. But I even though sometimes I can't even remember some of the times we did have together, I can remember the big stuff, small day-to-day stuff. It was just probably just general contentment. So I'm out with this girl, and her name was Laurel, and she was asking me about being married, and whatnot. What's it like to say vows? And I said I do, and that's it. I didn't really learn the full impact of it until it was over. And when I took my vows, I took them seriously, and I did not enter into this marriage lightly. It was not just anything I was just like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to do this. It was a very serious. I don't think I've taken anything. My commitment to transition and whatnot is a different story, but back then, that's, I never cheated. There was no need to. I love being married, and well, I miss her, and so we're kind of tearing up a little bit again. So, but I want to keep this, because there is a point to this, whole story about Christy and whatnot. But when you decide to get married, you gotta make sure it's the right one, and think you have to get things out in the open. And I do remember it. It was really right around this time of year. It was kind of near her birthday, and maybe in between my birthday. We had already basically decided we were going to get married. The actual proposal, did not happen. The actual diamond ring and the champagne glass, did not happen. And that's basically how I proposed. I just dropped her ring into the champagne. We, had a toast, and I was like, I just hope you don't choke on this. And she was kind of clueless. I think. I think she kind of knew, but she's probably waiting for me to, but to get the ring to her. But so there's the ring. Kind of floating. Not stuck into the bottom of the champagne glass, but. I'm like, no, come on, drink it up. We're drinking champagne, or we're celebrating. It's and eventually at the end, she's like, wait a minute, oh, there's a ring in here, And then obviously, like in true fashion form, we got down on the, I got down on one knee and I, asked her to formally marry me, and she said yes. Obviously, I didn't really have a doubt that she'd say no, but. And that's the story with that. But sometime between her birthday and my birthday, which were about a month apart, even though we're 15 years apart, but our birthdays are in a calendar year we're about a month apart, really about a month and a day, actually. So born in June, and so we had she had basically decided we were going to get married, and she said, well, okay, but I have to go out of town. And it kind of took me aback a little bit, because I said, well, people don't, I'm like, you don't really go anywhere, and, she really didn't go too far away from the house. And so, it was kind of confusing, but, I'm just like, okay, well, go do what you got to do. I trust her. I'm like, what are you doing? Go meet some other guy? But, and the answer is no. No, she was not. But she came back, and that's when she leveled with me. And, because I think, when you're in a marriage, you need to be completely open and honest about your past. And she was, because there was something that was bothering her. And, when she came back from her little trip, I was like, well, how was your trip? And, that's when she finally confided in me that, when she was 15, she had went on vacation and, met up with someone and lost her virginity and, and managed to get pregnant as well. So she's birth mother. And I think that's one of those things that because I'm adopted, and I was like, okay, well, that's okay. And I think that was one of those things that we would intimately talk about, because it was a big, it's kind of one of those things. It's big that, but I accepted it. There was not mad. There's no sense of being mad at it. So even at the ripe old age of 22, I was not mad about these things. I was just like, I thank you for telling me. That's kind of about it. I'm actually kind of skeptical whether or not she actually met him. I think he might have chickened out on the whole reunion thing. So, but that's kind of how it went. How we went down, how it went, and there's a whole other point to this. So, now obviously when she's telling me about this, so her son is really about my age, and I think several years ago when I was dealing with my own adoption issues, I wanted to kind of, I think I kind of wanted to reach out, because she told me what his name was, and I tried to find him. I found the father of her child. I could write him a letter anytime, but I don't. I just leave it, and that's. We adoption is one of those things. It's a lifelong process. I'm adopted. I won't ever say I was adopted. I think a lot of people kind of, well, you were adopted. Well, no. I am adopted. I mean, it's you don't get to ever be unadopted. Once you're adopted, I mean, from the day that you're born, if your natural mother, your first mother, your however you want to call it, however you want to call her, if she is unable to take care of you or forced to relinquish you or whatever, any kind of thing. I mean, it's babies are in demand. You're going to find a home, basically. But eventually you get adopted. Mother relinquishes, and it's a very, very tough thing. And you go home with your new family, and that's what I did. And and I've dealt with my adoption issues. 4 years ago, 4 years ago, the laws changed here in Illinois, and I got my original birth certificate. I was able to locate my mother, my birth mother, and whether or not, if birth mothers are out there watching, I'm sorry. We're just trying to clarify here. It's one of those things. I don't think a lot of people a lot of women who are forced to relinquish, or for whatever reason relinquished their children. I think they, I don't know what they like. I think a lot of them like to be first mothers. Some of them just like to be mothers. But it's Birth Mother's Day, and it's the day before Mother's Day. So, a very kind of poignant, special time. I think that's why we're going on this show. And I think these are the types of things you're going to learn. I think if you follow along and you like what I have to talk about, you enjoy my stories. I mean, there is a point. Eventually, we do come to a point, and it's usually in a very roundabout way. So, but I found my birth mother about 4 years ago. And I wrote her a letter, and she wrote me back right away. Now, of course, when I wrote her the letter, I signed it in my old name. I had not gotten my name legally changed yet, so she had wrote me back. And I think I've explained this before. You need to know my previous name. I don't go by that anymore, so it's out there. You really don't need. I'm Cindy Lou, and Cynthia Louise. That's where we get the Cindy Lou from. And that's just one of those we never expected to ever meet, in life, finds you. I mean, it really has to set you back. I mean, you have to probably prepare for that. So, I believe but she seemed open. So, but she wanted to know more about me because, I think you have to take these things slow sometimes. And what had happened was I wrote her a letter back, and I explained to her my situation. And I told her about myself, and I'm widowed, and lately I've been following this other thing that's been going on since really as long as I can remember. I've had feelings of dysphoria, and we tried to man up, and I'm sorry if it didn't take, but kind of reverting back to it a little bit. I mean, it's something, that's something that'll never leave me. So, you will learn about transgender issues, but this is really not about transgender. This particular special is not about transgender issues. This is about adoption reunions and birth mothers and general, really the emotions that go along with it. Because there's a lot of emotion. It's not that I was adopted, it's I am adopted. And you'll never know. It's one of those things that you probably will never be able to understand. The only people who are able to understand being adopted are people who are adopted. Just like when people who are trans. I mean, you can't really understand what it's like, what it feels like to be trans, unless you are. I mean, you can read about it, and you can try and educate yourself about it, and you can grasp the concept, but you just really don't know unless you are. And I think that's where a lot of missaid words come in. But a lot of people, they form their opinions, and they just don't know. And I think hopefully we can get each other all together. Because I believe there's not enough transgender people really speaking out um, about that. But again, this is not about transgender. This is about being adopted. So I'd written to Marion, my birth mother, and she had. So I told her about being trans. Communication stopped, and I suffered. Really, the outcome that I really did not want. I wanted. I wanted the outcome. My origins. I think everybody should know about that. But after some protesting and nasty letters being sent to her, and I wrote to her 4 years ago on Mother's Day after I hadn't heard from her in a couple months, or a month or more. I don't know. And she didn't respond. And she tried to tell somebody Happy Mother's Day, and that's just even though she's not. I have a mother. That I have my own mother, the ones the one that raised me. But I do have two mothers, all honest. And one gave birth to me, one raised me. And I agreed to a meeting with me, and that it took a year later before she finally agreed to meet me face to face. She was not really very, obviously not appreciative to the whole my lifestyle choice, for lack of a better word, better description there. Driving through neighborhoods, sorry, it's a little dark, but I did meet her, and I mean it was not really again, the outcome did not go the way I wanted to. I don't think she was ready for it. I think there was obviously some old school thought right there, thoughts of shame and whatnot, and her parents were the ones that really kind of forced her and told her that you're too young to raise a baby, so that's why you have to that's why she had to give me up. So they're still alive, apparently. I think they're still alive. I don't know, that was a couple years ago, so they were in their 80s. Theoretically they're still alive. I don't really know. I did knock on their door one time just because I just felt like it. And my natural born grandmother, my natural grandmother, the one that actually share, I'm the first daughter of the first daughter of the first daughter here, in a sense. She answered the door, and I knocked on her door, and she says, I'm like, are you, so and so, yeah, and I'm like, well, can you, I've got my birth certificate in hand, and she lied straight to my face. I don't know anything about this. And it's like, you bitch, you know everything about it. And it's like, I'll be fucking drop dead. So, I mean, really they didn't do me any favors, but maybe they did do me favors, because I mean, actually my life is pretty fantastic, which is probably something that they would not have been able to help me with. They probably wouldn't have been, they said it, Marion said it, you would have light poverty. I'm like, well, I would have had a life with my actual real people. But I guess, my mom and dad, they are my real people. So, I mean, it did all work out in the end. But, again, being Mother's Day tomorrow, and it's been a few years, maybe it's just feeling nostalgic. So off chance, I did actually was in the card store picking up a card for my mom, and I found another. I hate fire safe cigarettes. I think we've been over this. They keep going out. But I was in the card store buying a card for my mom, and I said, all right, I'm gonna try again. So I sent Marion a card. She probably got it today. Actually, I kind of in her town, so really it just had to travel down the street, through the post office and whatnot. So I mean, she got a card today. She might have thrown it in the garbage. Who really knows? I really don't know. I mean, I wrote a nice little note in there saying, I like to bury the hatchet, try to make some peace here, but we'll see if that ever turns out. But so like I said, it's the birth of Mother's Day today, and I just wanted to wish you all a happy birth Mother's Day. I've been going on and on for a while now, and we're getting pretty close to where we wanted to be. And looks by the clock we're 45 minutes, and I think that's been a pretty good test, right? Or I think that's been a pretty good show. So that's a 45-minute show. This has been All Over the Road. I'm Cindy Lou, your hostess. I want to thank you for watching this one. It's just one of those things that we're going to obviously go back to our regular scheduled madness soon enough. But I just due to the nature of the day, I wanted to throw that out there and see if I could actually make a real good show based on a real topic. So hope you enjoyed listening to my story. If you've got questions, comments, please send them to me. Wherever this is posted, it's probably going to be posted up. Well, it'll be posted up on YouTube, might be posted up on Facebook, and Facebook friends can, they can ask me any question they want to. But thank you very much for listening to my story, and we hope you have a good night. And I'm going to go have a good night at Abstract American Bar and Grill, Crest Hill, Illinois. That's where we're going to be. I'm just going to keep plugging them. I'm going to look for sponsors. We're going to try and make this thing big, but I'm just going to keep plugging them. They deserve it. They earned it. They're great people, and we should support the little businesses out there. So have a wonderful Saturday evening. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. If you're a birth mother, enjoy your Mother's Day too. And if you're Marion and you're watching this, then I hope you have Happy Mother's Day too. And tomorrow I'll be with my mom, celebrating it up. And that's my show, All Over the Road with Cindy Lou for May 7th, Birth Mother's Day Spectacular. Thank you for watching.